A lot of women between the age of 30 and 45 are very
Here's the dark truth a lot of women don't want to say. The older you get, the less forgivable life is. The older you get, the harder life is. The less beautiful you are, the harder life is. Because in patriarchy, because patriarchy is not systematic, but it's just the world we live in. The men value youth and beauty. When you sign your check, usually it's by a man. Every door you knock on is by a man. So in this society, in patriarchal societies, the young or youthful, beautiful, feminine woman will always have the cream, will always be on top and the cream of the crop. But Father Saturn, or the woman who calls age, it calls you age and gives you the price of being an elder, is will always remind you of reality because you're old enough to know the consequences of your sins, and you're not young enough to get a pass because you're young and don't know no better. What women know instinctually, especially as these new Gen X's are very sexual and sensual in their 40s plus, meaning they're going towards being an elder, is because they know youthfulness is the name of the game. As long as society deems you youthful, they'll forgive you for a lot more. There is forgiveness, power, and grace that you get when you're young and beautiful and feminine. And society tells you to grow older, faster, stress yourself out for a bag, stress yourself out for a degree, stress yourself out for things that you can get with a family to preserve yourself. The more you preserve your womb, the more you preserve your femininity, the more you preserve your beauty, women specifically will hate you because that is your power, your youthfulness, your femininity, and your fertility, your ability to have children, your ability to create, your ability to bring stuff into this world. That is your power. And the less you preserve it, the more women will hate you for it because they're realizing in their 30s through 45 the bricks that they laid in their life. When you start to become 40, you start to realize everything is your fault after a while. And you can there's only so much of a it's everybody else's fault that you can say. That's why a lot of men in today's society is telling you you better capitalize on your youth, because society will not forgive you for your sins as you get older, especially in today's climate. If you're an older black woman, the society doesn't care about you the way they do in other communities. Like, yeah, you may have children who are in position to take care of you, but you may not. You may end up in a shelter. I mean, excuse me, in a shelter, or in a home, because most people in an older home are women. Yeah, they have people who visit them, but they're in a home nonetheless. Society will be less forgiving on you when you're not as attractive, you're not as feminine, and you're not as beautiful. No, you're not as feminine and you're not as youthful. And that's the real truth. They're snarky at you because you remind them of the things that they once were. And you will never experience that from someone who's just as pretty as you. But when you get older, like I said, because men face this reality a lot faster than women. As you get older, life forgives you less. You have to pay. You have to pay up front as you get older. When you're young, you can pay as you go. When you're young, you can get some grace and say, "Hey, I'll pay a little bit later. I can't do it right now." As you get older, they don't give a fuck. You gotta pay now, or you ain't getting shit. And the less attractive you are in life, the more you have to pay up front. the more you have to pay, the more you have to pay up front in an area of life, because no one, it sounds basic, but no one's looking down at your titties and saying, "Ooh, she looks pretty." Nobody's looking at your face and your titties and saying, I'll give her a pass." No one's looking at your body and saying, "I'll give her a pass." It's just the truth. Men specifically are not giving you a pass, and men and women specifically don't want to be like you. Once that time is passed, you society will be not as cute towards you. If women don't want to be like you or be with you or be accompanied with you, beware of the hate. Because 30 to 45 is when women start realizing the weight of the mistakes and or the weight of their disciplines. They're either feeling the weight of their regret or the weight of their disciplines as they turn 30 to 45. Whether it be lack of children, lack of family, lack of commitment, lack of love, lack of etc., lack of finances, etc., etc. You're paying now. When you're young, beautiful, and youthful as a woman, there's a lot of shit you can get away with. And as you get older, you can't get away with that no more, because nobody gives a fuck. Especially if you're not attractive. And last but not least, I say this shit all the time. A lot of modern women believe things that they can only carry in their youth. They can only carry from 18 to 35 or 18 to 30 until society stops being as forgiving. Telling you, a lot of women don't have morals, principles, values, systems, standards, and structures that they can carry all throughout their life till they die. A lot of women only believe things that they can use in their youth, while they're beautiful, while they're attractive, while they're young, while society still gives a damn.